Welcome back to the online podcast. I'm your host, Zaire Collier. Today we have a special guest, a special video for you. Brandon Parker, Raiders right tackle, a 6-year NFL vet, comes on the show, joins us today, talking about football, life, and HBCU experience. With that being said, we'll have links to everything in the description, and thank you again. So welcome to the On the Line podcast, my man. Coming out of high school, you were underrated, under-recruited. You picked up a couple D2 scholarships, a couple walk-ons, and you eventually go into HBCU and NC Talk to me about your experience, not only as an athlete, but as a student going to HBCU, knowing that you have to work a little bit harder and how that shaped your mentality coming from HBCU.
It was definitely different. Everybody comes in high school or, middle school up really dreams of playing for that big kind of flashy program. For me, it was Chapel Hill. My parents were both Chapel Hill graduates. For some, it might be Alabama. For some, it's Clemson. For some, it's Texas, LSU. I mean, the list goes on. So, you come in there, you're not getting any stars. You're barely getting any playing time on varsity, all the way up to your junior year. So you kind of realize, like, I may not go that big knockout D1 program that some of my teammates will. So I crushed it my senior year. I got my offer from A&T, one of like maybe three between Winston and Central besides walking on deals. And I just got there and made the most of it, man. I knew well about it because my sister went there 2 years before me. My uncle and also my granddad were all Aggies, so I knew the family well. Also a great cousin, RIP, was an Aggie as well. So, I mean, it was in there. Before I even knew I was going to be an Aggie, I somehow knew I was going to be around A&T. So glad I ended up going there. I just had to make the best of it.
Oh yeah. So you obviously your family's from the area. That's like your hometown, and you have family that went there. What was the experience like for you? Because I know HBCUs, the culture is huge and the tradition. Playing in front of family. Maybe you have someone who works with your dad or uncle getting off work to come see you, and it's kind of not a party per se, but the culture and tradition. You know how we get out for HBCU. What was the experience like for you?
It was nice, bro. I mean, I come from a smaller town. I want to say it's like a one stoplight town, but it's definitely like a family home style town. Very quaint. And so going from that to like A&T, where you're with your people, you're with young people who are heading the same direction as you, who are all kind of working for that common goal. It's really just nothing like it to me in all of colleges. I mean, the BCS, D1 experience is nice, but ain't nothing like playing with your people, partying with your people, for your people, man. There's nothing like it. So, I got probably one of the top tier college experiences just as a student alone. Then you throw in athletics with it and the brothers and the bonds you make with that, and you just get the best of both worlds. So it's really hard to beat the overall experience you get at A&T.
Oh yeah, amen to that. Did you Sino, did you pledge anything while you were there?
Oh, no. I did consider one, but I backed out going to my senior year just because I wanted to focus on football to make sure I could have every opportunity to fail, and I feel like I made the right decision.
Oh yeah. So talking about your hometown and that. Now you go to A&T. Simply, when did you know that you can go all the way with football?
I would say probably going into somewhere between my junior and senior year. Obviously, like we're gonna get into later, I played with Tariq Cohen, and watching him be magical every Saturday, and the attention in the draft that he was able to kind of go through, kind of gave me hope, because they can't talk to you your junior year, they're not supposed to, so they didn't. And you don't know if they're seriously considering you as a prospect, or if you even gonna have a chance to go that level. Then when I became an official senior after junior year, started getting some agents, I started hearing there was a scouting report out about me. I started hearing a lot more things that made it real, like, oh, snap. Then somewhere along the road, I got that Senior Bowl invitation, and I knew, like, okay, I've really got a chance to make this thing a reality. So along the way, I just kept getting signs like that, and it just kind of kept making my belief grow because, when you're just playing and you're just playing, you're just trying to be consistent. You're not really, especially at that level, you're not worried about NFL or bust. You're just worried about being
Right.
and it will lead you to the NFL, and that's all I did, just try to be the best player I could be consistently.
Right.
And so talking about your junior senior, things start picking up. I believe William Robinson
was the tackle ahead of you at the time. He goes down. I don't know what your relationship with him is, but he goes down. I believe your freshman year or sophomore because you redshirted, and you start all 12 games that year. From there, you go. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. You go from third team All MEAC to a back-to-back first teamer, O lineman of the year, along with a side two-time All American to throw on there. What changed for you during that uphill slope of success?
So Willie Ray, he was 2012, I believe he was an All-American, and I came in 2013. He still played. His knee got messed up in the spring, so I kind of had to. I got all the reps at left tackle coming into their spring after my redshirt year, which helped me kind of expedite the process. And then we get into the fall. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna move Willie Ray to left guard. You're gonna play left tackle." So I'm like, "Okay." I jump all of maybe 260, so it's a bit shocking. Like, you sure? I'm barely strong enough. But I get out there and I just keep fighting, man, and a lot of that experience kind of speedboated into streamlined into the next year, where now I'm 280, no lower than 280, but I'm also got a little bit of strength to me. So somewhere about midseason, that second year of playing, it kind of clicked. That was the year I kind of made All American. I think it was Howard. It might have been homecoming Howard. I just started letting it go, man. Started figuring out how to let those hands go on the pass pro, and started realizing, like, man, I can be a bad dude at this. So just stay with it. I had a great online coach who kind of helped us mold us mentally and physically. Then, he left, unfortunately. Then I came another guy who kind of took my technique to the next level, and from what my original coach built, and I just kept working, man.
Oh yeah. So after senior year, you get invited to well, not after, but during it, you get invited to the Senior Bowl, which is huge. And now we're seeing guys on YouTube every day. The O line versus D line 1-on-ones. It's more, I would say, a bigger event now than it ever has been. What was that experience like for you coming from HBCU, going to that with bigger schools, and then the second part, being around NFL coaches and scouts and media, kind of not saying the opposite of HBCU, but HBCUs don't get that type of attention. So now you're kind of thrown into the limelight like that. How was that whole processing experience for you?
So it was a great experience. It was definitely a tiring experience because, that was your first taste of kind of NFL lifestyle where you're going from meetings to practice to interviews because it's a job interview still. So you just kind of, your tongues are dragging out your whole mouth just the whole week because you're just going nonstop. So that was a bit tough. I mean, that was the first time I've ever been in a schedule like that besides fall camp in college. But I knew in order for me to have a real shot and to be considered like kind of taken seriously, I had to look like I belong. So I knew going to the Senior Bowl, like, hey, they got to see how you play with the big dogs. You got to be able to prove that you weren't just some bully versus the FCS and MEAC. You got to be able to show like you belong. So first day I got my tail kicked a couple of times, just trying to adjust to the speed, and first time playing right tackle ever. So I had to adjust to that. Then the next day and second and third day I kind of showed I'm really belong. And in the game I looked like I was right along with everybody else. So and then obviously along that process with getting coached by NFL coaches, to answer your second question, just showing you're coachable. They're going to coach you a little probably harder than I'm used to. They're going to be a little bit more critical. That's the first time I've seen a good, bad, kind of ugly reel in front of the whole team. So that was a bit new. And then just kind of, just showing that you work hard, man. Just that you pick up whatever they tell you, do the best you can to be coachable, and they see a project they can mold, and that's what they like.
Right. So you're going through, Senior Bowl. You talk about your experience, how everything kind of came at you fast and it was exhausting, but you obviously adapted. Did anything surprise you during the draft process following the Senior Bowl?
Um, Man, this I'm sure a lot of people can attest to this, especially the undrafted guys who kind of end up making it work. But it's a long night, man. Both those nights, like the first night, I probably know I'm gonna be a first round pick. You never know, but I just had a feeling. So you watch all first night, like, okay, cool. We'll wake up the next morning, do what you gotta do, get ready to watch it again that night. And the second day is a long day. You are watching it because they're still somewhat slow because there's still like a lot of good prime picks going, and I'm just watching and watching it. My phone goes off beside me, and it's kind of like moment. You know how time just stands still for a second? It was like that. Like, oh wait, that's my phone. So I look at it. It's a California area code. So I'm like, oh shoot, here we go. And I answered, and it was Gruden on the line, if I remember correctly. And so it was like, oh man, this is real. And he's like, yeah, how you like to be a Raider? Huh? We're gonna take you with this next pick, and obviously I talked to Cable, I talked to Reggie McKenzie, and they're like, all right, we'll call you later with details. Enjoy watching your name go across the screen and look forward to working with you. So, and from then on, it was just dreams became reality. It was time to work.
Oh yeah. What was your family's reaction to that? I know that's huge, not only for you, but it's like a family achievement. You play with that last name on your back. So how was your family reacting to all that?
They were sorry. They were all ecstatic, bro. The same thing. My phone went off. They all grew still too. They all kind of like, is that it? Is the call? And so I answer it, and then they're in the background like, who is it? So I'm like, Raiders. And I have a lot of Raider fans in my family. So of course, my uncle and my grandma, they're like, yeah, they can't contain it. And once they see the name go across the room just lit up, man. And they were all very happy for me. A lot of them played a role, and like you said, it takes a village to raise a man. And a lot of them played a role of where I was at. Be it youth sports, be it college, be it high school, middle school. They supported all through the way. So it was just kind of a product of what everybody had kind of helped create come to fruition.
Oh yeah. So you get drafted third round. You and Colin, kind of the staple. O-line was going through a little patch, even though they had vets. But you and Colin being the staple of that draft, both on the O-line at left tackle and right tackle. You come in, talk about that relationship with Colin coming in both as rookies. And both of you guys, I believe, are 6'8", 6'9", big cats. What's that? How's that bond been with you guys? And I found this out, longest tenured Raiders on the active roster right now.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it was from day one. I always kind of looked at him as my brother, man. We get there, kind of look at each other like, dang, you big and you big, So it's like they drafted. You watch him. I remember watching him walk across the stage, smiling and happy. And I was happy for him too. Like I'm like, okay. Mentally, I'm like, cross the Raiders off the list. They got a tackle. So when they called me too, I'm like, oh, I guess we're gonna be best buds. So he called me, says, hey, he's playing left, you're gonna play right. I'm like, cool. And we roomed together from the day one. We get there as rookies. We're in the same O-line room, in the same meetings. Like we're studying with each other. We're, kind of getting our tails kicked together in unison. So we really kind of went through the mud together, man. And that's kind of what's always is going to keep us close for forever because we both remember how it was when we came in and we got to see each other grow in, different ways. So it's kind of nice to have somebody who's been there from day one right there with you along your journey. And hopefully we both get to retire one day as Raiders, but you know how the business is. But I'm just for every moment I've had with him to be his brother.
Oh yeah. Well, congratulations to both of you guys. I know Colin just picked up the extension, and you just got re-signed recently. So hopefully, I'm a Raider fan. I don't know if you see, I got the jersey on, so I'm a diehard Raider fan. I sent the pictures to my grandpa when we had met, and he called me emotional. So yeah. So let's go back to 2018. You're in Oakland. You make your debut in Cleveland. What was that atmosphere like for you now that you guys were in Vegas, but playing in Oakland? What was that atmosphere like for you?
Man, Oakland was special, bro. A lot of fans will agree with me, too. As much as I love being here in Vegas and I love what we've been able to do for the city with, getting to the playoffs a year ago and trying to reestablish ourselves as a winning program, to get the support we need. But, man, them Oakland fans, bro, they are special. Are they going to bash you when you do wrong? Yeah. But when you do right, man, there's nobody who has your back like them. And even in the midst when somebody else is joking on you, they still got your back. So it's like a family there, man. That black hole is it's indescribable, bro. You just got to be a part of it. You got to be on the right side of it to understand where I'm coming from because those fans were just special. That's of all the things I miss about the NFL that come and gone. I've definitely missed Oakland. That's probably number one on my list.
Yep. Because being a Raider fan, it's kind of since I've been born, a lot of trauma and drama, but we're used to it. It's always exciting, and I've been to a couple of Raider games at the Coliseum, and as a fan, it's always been amazing. Even when I was little, just going in there, it's the atmosphere. That people try to bash it for being on a baseball field, but it's just the authenticity of it, and the everything around it just kind of summarizes the fan base. So again, going back to that 2018 season. You had vets on the team like Jordy Nelson, Marshawn, and then up front Donald Penn and Rodney Hudson. Who gave the best advice, or what was the best advice you were given early on?
They've all kind of gave me bits and pieces, with DP, with Rob, with Gabe, and They've all kind of KO as well. They've all given me good pieces of advice, man, and I pluck kind of stuff from each one of them. I would say, going off the script from them, the best advice I ever got probably in that building was from our assistant GM our rookie year. He kind of told me simple, production equals tolerance. And, they as a rookie, you kind of get it, but you don't get it. But now that I've been in the league for 6 years and I kind of seen people walk differently and are allowed to walk differently than other people, it's probably the best thing I've heard. And then also Ray Rice, who was as well our rookie year, too many pats on the back set you back. And I always remember those two quotes. Production equals tolerance and too many pats on the back set you back because, the better you do, the more they're willing to put up with. That's as far as off-field antics, as far as, maybe you get to leave early some days, maybe you're allowed to have vet days. They tolerate more because, you do more for them. And on the other hand, where too many pats on the back set you back, you have a good play or a good game, because, there's 17 games. They're going to be good bad games. That's how it is. You get too high on that good game, you're bound to crash because you lose sight of reality. You start working as hard. Start smelling yourself. You don't do check the little boxes that you need to do to keep being successful, and that's what gets you beat. So those are two things I always remember that somebody told me that's going to stick with me, and I try to pass to the younger guys as well.
I love that, man. That's huge right there. I'm not gonna lie. So now you go. Let's fast forward 20 to 2021 season, coming off of COVID. I believe this is the first season or second season with fans in the crowd at the Allegiant. A lot of things happened that year. The Henry Ruggs situation, from John Gruden's situation, getting fired mid-season, a couple guys getting suspended, but eventually you guys pull it off. Last play of the whole regular season, punching your ticket to the playoffs. What was that like for you guys, both in the locker room and for you mentally, and how did you guys deal with that?
It was definitely tough. A lot of guys like myself, we had to show our character that year. We had to be really resilient, try to find positivity in all the darkness around us, because obviously losing your coach stings, the whole Ruggs situation with, him kind of making a bad decision, a young lady losing her life, and dog as well losing his life. So none of that situation was good. So that was tough to get by. Then a couple other infractions along the way. So it just, all you had to do was we had to realize as a brother we all were had, because the media was bashing us, fans were bashing us. They were all trying to, figure out what the heck's going on in the building. So, it's just, we had to learn to kind of band together as brothers and just keep fighting, man. And we had a great guy at our helm with Basaccia who understood what it took. And even he was like, hey, man, just roll with the punches and keep going forward. You can't control what's happening, can't control what's going to happen, or you can't control what's already happened and the results from it. But what we can do is try to be 1-0 every week and, find a way to put it behind us and focus on the game and keep winning. And that's what we had to do.
Would you say there was a big shift? But when do you think there was a big shift in energy following those incidents in the locker room? When did things kind of start hitting for you guys?
I would say a little bit before the Chiefs, we were on a roll. I think we were like 4-6 and 4-5, 6-5. Either way, we were week 13 and we were 500. So they're like, okay, we still got a great chance. Yeah. AFC's not, we got to one up some people here. Man, we go to Arrowhead and get our tails absolutely kicked. I think we stomped on the logo for some reason, and we got beat by, I want to say, at least 30. It might have been 40. We got stomped. So,
side note, who, I don't want to call anybody out, but whose decision was that to go out?
Bro, it was a team decision that we just had to back people up, man. I agree with it, but I'm also part of the team and I'm with it. So, hey, we got to be with it. But it just backfired.
I backfired. Yeah, that was it.
We get our tails kicked, and we get back to the the facility on Monday. We're like ultimatum, like, hey, meal do a barbecue. What you gonna do? We're 6-7. If we just, obviously winning 4 straight seems like a lot if you look at 4 straight, but man, let's just keep trying to win. So we won the first one, we won the next one. So we're like, oh, there's 2 weeks left. We're 8-7. We can do this. So we go to Indianapolis. We go 9-7. Like, now it's a winner take all versus the Chargers. So it's like, guys, we done came too far to lose. Like, we can't lose now, bro. This is just, we come too far. All you got for one more game to get into the playoffs, and let's make it happen. So we get in there. Unfortunately, we lose to the Bengals, but it was kind of cool to see us rally together for one last drive to win 4 straight to get in there. And it was It was a fight, like claw, tooth, and nail to get those 4 wins, but we got them.
Oh, and I can tell you as a fan, it was beautiful to watch. I remember the exact me. I was actually talking to my mom last night about it, and we were actually in the room, me, my mom, and my dad, watching I want to say second quarter on of that last game against the Chargers, and the emotional roller coaster because it was a great game. You know, Herbert doing his thing, and then just the heart and the energy that was in that stadium. How you guys play as a team was beautiful to see. Another question, same game. Was there ever a decision? Because at the point, you guys could have tied, and you and the Chargers could have got in. I know it's divisional rivals, but were you guys not saying playing to tie, but was there a thought like, hey, we might tie the game and play it safe?
I, as a player, I don't, I was so locked in with just running whatever play they called. I didn't even realize the situation, sadly, because I remember winning that game. And a lot of the media talk is like they were thinking about tying, but to get us both in, but something happened. Like they called a timeout or this, that, and the fourth. And
Yeah.
talking to some of the other teammates, they were like, had they not called that timeout, we may have just took the tie. But I think something about once they called that timeout, we were like, oh, F it. Okay, we're going to play to win, Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play to win. Screw it. And we won. I can't confirm that's what everybody's thought was or what the coaches thought. But
Yeah.
I was just trying to win. I didn't care nothing about tying. I didn't care nothing about scenarios playing out. I just wanted to win.
Oh yeah, just win, baby. You know what I mean? The rate of rate, yeah.
That's what I heard that. I was like, man, that's how ridiculous that sounds. We were trying to tie. Come on, man.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but come to find out, I guess there were a couple minds that thought we may have been trying to go for the tie, or they were considering going for it. But the rest is history.
Oh yeah. Now you talk about the media presence there, just a little bit. You know how people were talking, and your reaction to it. Does the waking up, ESPN, you got Stephen A. Smith, First Take, they always talk. Does that ever linger into the locker room at all, or have an impact on you guys?
We'll have the TV on in some places in the building. Sorry. Kids. Okay. So we'll have the TV on this place in the building. And, sometimes we'll have the First Take or Stephen A's or the other one, Good Morning Football on during the week when, you get stuff. But, a lot of times when it's about us, we try not to listen to it. We may turn it down, might scoff at it. But at the end of the day, don't do nothing but motivate you. You can't, especially as a player, you got to be confident in yourself, and you can't let outside forces shape who you are. Like, you can't let somebody saying this or an article that says this or your PFF grade is this or something take you out of your game, because at the end of the day, it's about you and the brothers you take the field with. You just got to be yourself with them every time you touch the field as best as you can, regardless of outside circumstances.
Right. So now, moving forward a little bit, off the field, you're entering your sixth season. I know it takes a toll not only on your body and yourself and your mentally, but your family. And I just want to ask you, how have you balanced both family and football entering, go ahead.
No, it's really just about dedicating specific time to both. Like, I try. So obviously our days are usually 7 to 5, 7 to 5:30, whatever it is. And so that's a long day. That's like a 9 to 5, actually a little longer than 9 to 5 for people. So I try to always get home. I'll probably get to pick up my daughter every day and my son when he goes to daycare every day, which will automatically start the family gateway. So pick them up, ask them how their day was, talk to them, get to interact with them for about an hour or two. You get to about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Make sure your wife gets her attention, however long she needs. She just needs to talk to you. She just want to sit there with you, watch shows. Eventually pick your iPad up. We'll check back in with football a little bit before you go to bed. Get ready for bed and do it again. And then, like, now we're in the off season, just make sure we have time to enjoy us as a family before it picks up. Like, make sure we go Legoland. Make sure we go take a vacation. Make sure we go to Disneyland. Make sure we do something that still, shows that family is first and foremost. And when it's time to be football, it's time to be football. But if you kind of filled that family cup up enough, they have no problem letting you dedicate yourself to football.
Right.
Versus if you're off all the time, even when you don't have to be, now you kind of neglect your family, and that's where your issues come in.
Oh yeah, because I'm in college now, but I'm one of those guys that's always been kind of dedicated to the game. So I've been trying to find that balance. Going to high school, getting home late, and waking up in the morning training. It can get overwhelming. So just kind of trying to find that balance. I have four little siblings. mom and pops, so not the same situation, but similar, a little similar. Yeah, so they've dedicated a lot of their time coming to my games, so that's kind of been the next step for me. Even with me working, like instead of me, playing video games or something, like I'll still get my time to train and go to practice, but just little things, going to the park or a basketball game or something, just little things like that before, again, like how you said, before we really get in the season. Um, yeah, man. So I get at this part out real quick, and then the last three questions, just to finish us off. Going back to on the field, who are your top three matchups or guys that not necessarily give you trouble, but you kind of have to, get ready for?
I would definitely say Khalil Mack number one. Me personally, Melvin Ingram number two. Then I would say probably Miles Garrett number three. Now this is just off the team. Obviously, you got to see Max every day. You just got to bring your grits. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But outside of our team, and Chandler as well, the dogs. But outside of our team, those three. Because Melvin, a short, kind of explosive, quick body can give a tall guy trouble because he can duck. If he dips under you or ducks your punch or you turn them to him too early, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
That's just his whole MO is if you turn, it's gonna be a long day. Um, with Khalil, he's just got such a toolbox and obviously a Hall of Famer one day that he just, you got to eliminate something. But if you eliminate something, his number two club is just as good as his number one. So it's hard to kind of minimize how good he is, And then with Miles Garrett, just that big of a frame to be as twitchy and technical as he is always going to give you issues. You got to be on your P's, If you give him an inch, he's going to make a mile out of it. He kind of says that when people ask him what do you do. He's like, oh, okay, well, if you like to chop my long arm down, I'll just bring it back up or I'll do this. Or if you like to raise my, like, he's always thinking about his next move. Obviously, everybody has a plan until you punch him in the chest. Same thing with us. We could have a plan and get bullish one time. Now, our nerves might get out of whack. It happens to a lot of league. But he's the type of guy that can eliminate a game plan within seconds, just how good he is, So you just got to be ready to battle.
Oh yeah, no, the NFL is always evolving, and I want to ask you, you got guys like Micah Parsons, kind of hybrid guys coming out now. The Eagles just drafted, I believe, Nolan Smith, running a 4.2, 4.3. How do you not feel, but how do you look at that as an offensive tackle, knowing that you're going against guys that really should be, but really could easily be a middle linebacker, a safety, and now they're rushing on the edge, but can hit you like like a DN, like a Miles Garrett. How do you look at that?
You got to evolve with them, as like tackles in the 2000s and maybe even the early 2010s were all bulkier bodies before these linebacker types started popping up left and right. So now that you're facing these more athletic guys, you kind of got to mold your body to match them. You want to be just as powerful and nimble as they are as best as you can be because, if you got a bad diet or you're moving too much like a slug, you're going to get beat around the edge. But if you get too light, because they're still strong, you're susceptible to the bull rush. So you really just got to try to find the limits of your body and be in the optimal range to perform. Like for me, my weight's 325, but I'm usually sitting around low 320s, and I'm obviously just changing my diet through the whole offseason. I've dropped about 5 or 6% body fat, but I've also gained mass on the end and starting to put up really great numbers. So I'm trying to find a way to really optimize myself to match the athletes that I'm going against. I got to be able to move. I got to be strong. I got to be able to bend because they can do all three of those things. So if I can't do what they can do just as good, then you're behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
There's a little bit going back. We're gonna hop back and forth real quick. A couple more questions. If there's any financial advice you would give to young athletes, what would it be?
Definitely, I sound like LeVar Ball, but stay in your lane. For sure, stay in your lane because you're going to, it doesn't matter what round you come in. Regardless, you're going to come into veterans like myself who may have had a contract or two with some lucrative money or from the jump may have been high-paid guys who might have the cars, they might have the jewelry, they might have all the clothes, the designer, all of that. And if you come in with the NFL minimum salary or just a young rookie salary trying to keep up with them and trying to maintain the image that they maintain, you're going to get lost because you don't have the dollars to play in the playgrounds that they do. So I would say just make sure, the way you came into the league should be the way you came out. If you're a conservative guy, stay conservative. If you're a flashy guy, stay flashy within your means. If you're, if you got investments in mind or if you got, You know, you got businesses you want to, you know, if you're a potential franchiser or I think franchisee, then, you know, keep that in mind, but make sure whatever you do is within your range. As long as you don't stay or in your lane. So as long as you don't overstep your boundaries or step out your lane, you'll be fine. And stay true to yourself.
Do you personally have any plans? Because I know Nevada is a little cheaper. Do you have any plans or investments? Not like specifics, but you have any plans going on?
We got something up our sleeve. We're about to, about a month or two, we're probably going to unveil what we've been working on. And it's taken me a while to kind of really make a big investment step, but I think we're at a financial spot now and longevity spot now. We can start to really play ball with some big investments. So I got something up my sleeve. I can't reveal it now, but
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm not gonna. I wasn't expecting you to reveal it no way, man. That. You know what I mean. I don't like to talk about people's pockets or nothing like that. So, um, and then lastly, man, if you could give younger you any piece of advice, what would it be?
whew, man, if I could give younger me advice, you're gonna laugh, but I would say do yoga, Pilates. I should have done this thing a long time ago because the way I'm able to bend and move now, should have been done this like by year one, year two, easily. And definitely diet. This is the first year I've taken my diet seriously and how much better my body operates and how much more sculpted I look in just one really off season of finally eating consistently is insane. So I just really wish I would have picked up. Now, mind you, I was all of 300 pounds my rookie year, so I had to put on weight. And usually, when you put on fast, it's bad weight. It's hard to sculpt as you kind of have to bulk up. But I would say year three, I definitely should have toned up my diet a lot better after I finally got it. So I would say definitely, yeah, those two things.
Okay.
Get a better diet and then just kind of work my flexibility and core a lot earlier. Probably been a little bit better off.
Oh yeah, try and just stay ahead. You know, little things you could have did, but you learn as you go.
Yeah, that's what life's about, man. You trial and error, and that's a trial I probably should have been took a long time ago. So,
Oh
but
yeah,
it
man.
made me better for it.